Shvetashvatara Upanishad, the sixth chapter, 17, and generally the 18th also is taken together. The 17th and 18th.
This is an old book, so it's not paginated.
Ah, by Swami Prabhupada.
Manchester.
Right.
Manchester.
Oh,
So
Swami
I don't
Prabhupada
know.
in Manchester, Frederick Manchester.
Maybe you could show me where the actual slogan is. An old classic.
Ah,
It was World War 1948, so mid 20th century.
yeah.
Strange saying.
This one.
Okay, good. Thank
So, this book we are on 197. I'll read the translation which was done by Swami Vivekananda in his introduction to Bhakti Yoga. He is the soul of the universe. He is immortal. His is the rulership. He is the all-knowing, the all-pervading, the protector of the universe, the eternal. None else was there efficient to govern the world eternally. He who, at the beginning of creation, projected Brahma, that is the universal consciousness, and who delivered the Vedas unto him. Seeking liberation, I go for refuge unto that effulgent one, whose light turns the understanding towards the Atman. This book has got slightly, you can say, rather a faithful rendering, rather a word to word, not faithful, a word to word rendering of this letter. Satanmayo hyamrita isha sansto gnya sarvago bhuvanasya gopta ya ishesya jagato nityameva nanyo hetur vidyata ishanaya yo brahmanam vidadati purvam yo vai vedansya prahinoti tasmai tam hadevam abuddhi prakasham mumukshur vai sharanamaham prapadye. So he is the self of the universe, immortal, as the Lord, a knower, omnipresent, and the protector of this universe, who eternally rules this world. There is no other agent for ruling this world. There is none else efficient to govern this universe. We take this first one. So it's these two are classical verses. When you have to know God or the reality through the manifested universe, this is what you get. The highest point. The soul or the mind likes to objectify itself. And the highest objectification of the mind is what you call the personal God. Hey, there has to be someone like me sitting somewhere. Since I am sitting somewhere and I look like this, my objectification follows me. God has to be like me. If God has two horns, then that's not God. Oh, God, I don't have two horns.
Yeah.
He has to be someone else. No, not me, not me. Of the mind. In Vedanta say, don't objectify the mind, but let the mind be as it is, the subject, and try to find the light of consciousness which is behind the mind. Because ultimately, the mind is a form of nature, it's a subtlest form of nature. So you say, oh, this is my mind. Yes, it's part of nature. You fast for a 15 days or 20 days and see if you can remember your own name. Then you eat a piece of bread, and then you remember, first thing is, I remember my name. Oh, yeah. So the bread has become the mind. Yeah.
The bread is
Bread has become the mind. I'm talking about bread in the sense that it's matter. It's somehow we can integrate bread and cheese and butter and fruits and everything. That's a great, you can say, mystery. How we can integrate everything within us. That's because genetically, from the physical level, if you talk about it, yes, there's no difference between bread and me. What? Yes, all of life is made of the same genetic materials. Everything carries the same genes. I can integrate. That is life. I am life. Life can integrate with life. So that's the reason why I'm saying just don't objectify. So when we come down to the Kathopanishad, we will find how this thing works. So when this manifested universe is perceptible here to us, what is behind this world or what is behind this mind? This is what it is. He is the soul of the universe. He is the self of the universe. And you see everything as mortal. You have to make that reality immortal. That's established as a kind of a governor, not a governor of a state, all these things. Just one who governs. Because the variety manifested as life is staggering. Someone has to know the whole damn thing, what's happening. So if you don't have something knowing what's happening, you'll get a problem. That's the reason why it's a gnya, the knower. He is a knower. That is a knower. Hmm. So he knows all the, you can say, intricacies, the details, the sub details of everything. And does he sit down in one place? Something called heaven? No. That reality is omnipresent everywhere. Because when you are limited by time and space and also the laws of nature, you you limit yourself. It actually, these laws limit you, they clump you together. The mind can become vast, but some stupid desire comes in my mind and there I am. I'm limited by my desire. Yeah. So I want to say chocolate ice cream. Yeah. Of all the things in the world, you want chocolate ice cream. And that has made that vast mind focused on that. And then you look around for shops, you look around. LA is such a dump. You can't get even a chocolate ice cream nearby.
yeah.
So life also is like that. It wants to spread out, but we are pulled in by some silly desires or some silly thoughts. So God, yeah, God has to be everywhere. He doesn't have any desires like me or anyone else in there. So that reality is omnipresent, is everywhere. It's in it's behind the smallest of the small, behind the subatomic particles, or even beyond that, whatever you can say. And what does that reality do? It protects this universe and eternally rules it. Because I find when I do something, after a couple of years, that very thing has come and hit me like a boomerang. So what you throw out, and then I'm looking somewhere else, and the boomerang comes and hits me on the head. Oh, hey, what? Who did that? I don't deserve this. Well, you set in motion something, and it has come back to you. You forgot what you did. And then if you keep on reflecting, yeah, that's a thing I had done. Okay, fine. Well, I needed a hit on the head for that. So yeah, that reality rules everything through the laws of karma. Yeah, that's the police. You can't get away with anything. And if you do something good, it's inescapable. It's going to come back to you. So keep on doing something good. And then you go and try to buy a ticket, a lottery ticket, and you see win $1 million. Hey, what's that? How did that come into play? Yeah, so many people have you know purchased that lottery ticket, and then one guy gets $1 million. Hey, so there is no such thing as fortune or luck in this universe. There is no chance. I got it by chance. No, there's nothing like that. It's all, you can say, perfectly, mathematically, you can say, established that you do something and you get something. And then is that the law of bondage? In a way, it binds you, but if you want to free yourself, remove the sense of ego, remove the sense of I. Yeah, then I got that. I- when you get a lottery, that's even a bigger bondage. You don't know what to do with that money and you waste it. Very few people can really utilize it. So it's not that you get a lottery and you're very happy for a few days. Hmm.
I don't know about
After,
that.
when people remind you, hey, you had a lottery, and like Sri Ramakrishna says, well, there was a small bird called a kite. It picked up a fish, and all the crows went cawing behind it. And it was so harassed by the crows, throws that fish, lets the fish fall off. And all the crows converge towards that fish and that kite. So your lottery, oh, I got a lottery. After a year, somebody say, hey, did you get a lottery? And you are without any money. And that very thing, a lottery, that thing itself will so distressing. That's thought. Yeah. So
Who wins the lottery? It's only God. There's nobody separate to win it or to be.
yes, as long as you have an individuality, you have a relative existence, till that time this is applied. But when you know uh, it's all God, then
Or if you
then
have,
you then you're a free person.
or if you have no.
No chance, no luck. So you could say it is written.
Mm, no, it's not written. It's like
I mean, your own life is written. This is the way it's going to go, and this.
you have another power. Like You've set in motion something and something is coming back. There is something called self effort. Self effort. It's called Purushakar. So, along with certain things which are enumerated for you, but a lot of broad gaps have been given in that enumeration for you to fill it up with your own effort. So there is something called a purushakara, that is self effort. You can counter the effects of karma. Now, suppose one person is supposed to get ill with a particular kind of disease, but if that person is careful about his health, he can ward off that. So it's nothing written in stone. You have been the author of what you wrote for yourself. No one else has been writing that for you.
Not the publisher.
Not the publisher. It's like, you look in the mirror, smile, the mirror smile back at you. You frown, the mirror frowns. You're saying, hey, that guy is frowning at me. Yeah, you smile and there's a smile.
But there's 12 signs in the zodiac, and each person in each sign behaves according to that behavior.
That's a long, 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 long digression.
Ah,
Nothing is in stone. Can't change it.
yeah, but
Otherwise, human life wouldn't be able to be, can say, thriving and living. We would have been as good as this table here. Yeah, no freedom. Yet you feel a sense of freedom. Where is that coming from? Yes, I can exert. I can throw this thing off. I can do that. Okay.
Samskara, though, is
Yeah, samskaras can be,
samskara is engraved.
but then towards the last, you burn up all the samskaras. It's like you burn a coil of rope, and then that coil of rope retains that form of that coil, ash, and then you blow it, and then okay, it cannot bind you. Got it? Yeah. So here he's saying there is no other agent ruling this world. There is no other God. So that we leave some time at the end for questions. Okay. And that will take us quickly through this, and then okay. Mm, so this is what the next is 198. He who created Brahma in the beginning, and who indeed delivered the Vedas unto him, in that very deity, who is the revealer of the knowledge regarding the self, I, being truly desirous of liberation, seeker of you. This is a seeker. Now that person has understood the scheme of this world, the reality. What's this? Now I want to realize that. Now, where do I go to? I seek refuge in that very being. So, this is a person who wants to be liberated. That's a word is called mukshu, mokshamicha, the one who has a desire for liberation. That's the highest desire a person can have, the desire to be liberated. And why? Somewhere that's part of our nature, real nature. It's been calling out to us. It's that heart's longing. Because we are not supposed to live in this dank, dark, dirty prison of the mind. We have seen a glimmer of the light and we are going towards it. We want more light. That's what is called seeking freedom, seeking liberation. And that is the goal of each and every being. One must seek that. And where do I go? Here. And what's the nature of that? He who created Brahma in the beginning, as Swami Vivekananda says, the universal consciousness, who projected the universal consciousness in the beginning. And as that universal consciousness reflects knowledge, that is the Vedas. With the word Veda means knowledge. It's not a book. Symbolically, yeah, you say these are the books and these are the Vedas. But consciousness, suppose there is no consciousness there within you now, you will not know. The very fact that we know things, we are not even thinking about it. No, we're just knowing. Yeah. So what's that? Because of consciousness. That consciousness is that Vedas, that universal consciousness. Okay. And delivered the Vedas unto him in that very deity, who is the revealer of knowledge. That is consciousness, that deity. As we have seen before, Devatma Shakti, Swagunair Nigudam, that is the power of the Lord hidden within itself. That is Devatma, the luminous being. Because as light reveals things, so consciousness reveals everything. So that is the knower. So this reality, what's reality? Existence, yes, existence. But is existence kind of something neutral or dry or something like that? No, knower. Regarding what? Regarding the self, regarding the reality. So I, being verily desirous of liberation, seek refuge. You know, uh, when this whole creation merges, or manifested universe merges into something called, the whole tree merges into a seed,
Hmm.
and then there's a period of inactivity, and then the seed starts sprouting again and manifests this whole universe once again. So it's cyclic, constantly through the cycle. So as that universal consciousness is slowly sprouting and slowly manifesting itself, it reveals knowledge. And what is that knowledge? That very self. It's not different, the knower and the self, or God and the self, two aspects of the same thing. You cannot have two things, God and Satan. We don't want that kind of duality. So the knower and the self is one entity. The self knows. That's the reason why he's saying, and I go to that. Now, where is that? Uh, Consciousness is there within all of us. I seek refuge in that very consciousness. Because I have been seeking refuge, I'm seeking support through all these acquisitions. I want this, I want that, I want this, I want that. These are my acquisitions. But these acquisitions have made me miserable, not happy. So where do I go? So yeah, I go and now get to that source of my being. That's consciousness. And as I understand it, this is my real nature. Then what about God? As I had said the other day, the personal man, woman is broken down, and the impersonal man or impersonal woman is brought into being. Similarly, the personal God is broken down, and the impersonality of God. And so the impersonality of God and the impersonality of the human being, or whatever, it's not a human being or man or woman anymore. The impersonality, they both converge. And the meeting point is,
Meeting point is
Meaning point is you are that. Thou art that. This is the highest teachings of the Upanishads. You are that. Really? Oh God, I can't believe it. Yes.
Oh God, I can't believe I'm God.
A part of God, a child of God. I can start with that.
Yeah. Get your toe warm.
Yeah. You know what happens? The more we are separate from that reality, the more we feel kind of, aloof and alienated.
Mm.
The more we go closer towards that reality, the more we feel at home. Oh, this is my home. Yeah.
But it's a very fine line because you can be claimed to be God, but then that's that's another real problem.
In Vedanta,
Yeah.
like I was saying, Swami Vivekananda in the
Careful.
middle of a lecture, he stopped and said, "I am God." What? This thing can never be understood by dual religions.
Blasphemy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's blasphemy.
They go crazy.
Yeah. Oh, what's this?
You're not Allah, you're not
Yeah,
Jesus,
but
whatever.
that God is like not that God in that like personal God we are talking about. It's you have to bring in that impersonality.
Mm.
So this is, and what does it? That reality lightens my intellect. Atma Buddhi Prakasham. So you're saying the line is, who is the revealer of the knowledge regarding the self? Atma Buddhi. This is what it, my intelligence is deflected outside, and if I can withdraw that intelligence and take it back to my source, then I find that is my intellect has become enlightened. That is the Buddha. What is Buddha? The Buddhi, awakened. You become awakened. So was it sleeping? It's not. It wasn't sleeping. It was deflected outside. The moment you turn it back inside, you become awakened. That was all the prayers in the Vedas. Make my intellect awakened. That was it's not give me this, give me that, and all. What's that? It's for children. That kind of religion is for children. Okay, slowly you graduate here. The only prayer that you want is that make my intellect pure, and so that it can reflect that consciousness as it is. So this Atma, that very deity who is the revealer of the knowledge regarding the self. This is Atma Buddhi. It's very important. It's a very kind of loaded word, Atma Buddhi. There is another alternate reading, Atma Buddhi Prasadam. It means almost the same. So, who makes the knowledge regarding the self favorable? Atma Buddhi Prasadam. So, here is one who created the universal consciousness in the beginning and delivered the Vedas to him. In that very deity, in that, it's not to that, in that very deity, who is the revealer of the knowledge, we go to seek refuge. I have to give up. What is seeking refuge? I have to give up my sense of my ego. And yeah, as long as it's there, it's helpful to get you battered and bruised and take you around and round and round and round. So after a while, then you wonder, saying, "But is this not working? Let's
Let's try something else.
yeah, let's try something else."
We're done.
I seek refuge. When you are at the limit of your strength, your talents, your powers, everything, when you've exhausted everything that you've had, trying to make yourself this and that and this and that, when nothing is working, then at the end of the Bhagavad Gita, after saying the whole thing, Sri Krishna tells Arjuna, take refuge in me.
What?
Take refuge in me. Yeah. and I will save you from all the things. He could have said it in the beginning. He could have avoided this whole.
So could you.
That's not the fun of it.
Mm,
Yes,
Let's do
one
that.
needs to exhaust one's
All-
karma, whatever one has done, and one has to go through all the experiences and get disillusioned, and then saying yes.
In The Wizard of Oz, the movie, Good Witch Glenda, at the end of the whole thing, it's one of the great. It's like a scripture, really. It's a brilliant book.
Hmm.
This so-called children's book, which is really profound on so many levels. She says you've always had the power within you, but
Hmm.
you didn't know it.
Hmm.
And so Dorothy, being practical from Nebraska, Kansas, says, "Well, why didn't you tell me this to begin with?" And then Glinda says, "You wouldn't have believed me,"
Hmm.
which is one-upsmanship and very irritating, but true.
Yeah, it's
And then she gets it, and then she, we know she clicks her shoes and then goes back to Kansas.
Ah.
So anyway, but there is that.
That's what he's going.
Yeah, yeah. So
Kansas.
Kansas, yeah. Synchronicity strikes again. Lots of luck.
lots of love. See if I can see Dorothy.
And the other thing I just want to throw out, the thing about engraving in stone, it's interesting because the image
I'll keep
Yeah,
some
yeah,
time
yeah,
towards the
yeah,
end
I
for
wanna
this. We'll
make a connection with
because
that image.
we
Yeah,
are
yeah. Thank you.
we're on the air.
Yeah.
So that's the idea. You once you've seen everything, then you see what was at the, you can say, basis of everything. So my consciousness, I seek refuge in that consciousness, and I'm free. So that universal God, that impersonal God that we're speaking of, I keep on saying, what is that universal impersonal God has got a universal personality. What's that universal personality now? It's all the souls that are there, everything from the lowest to the highest, they form the personality of God. The you, I, everything are embedded in that God, that reality, manifested reality.
It's like a mosaic.
Yeah. But then you go down deeper at the next level, the manifestation stops. What you get is only pure reality, without which is the next, you can say, verse. The next verse is, I seek refuge in that, which is the continuation of the previous, which is partless, actionless, tranquil, faultless, taintless, the supreme bridge to immortality, and like fire with burning fuel. There is another alternate reading with the fire where the fuel has been spent. Everything is quiet. You have a bonfire, and after some time, the fire dies down. You're left with the embers, and that embers also, everything is quiet. If you've lit all these bonfires, you've understood the thing. Everything is quiet, and then large. You can see the stars, the planets, because you are focused on just on that fire. The fire, there's dancing flames that kind of enraptured you. You're looking at that. Wow, look at. It's really fascinating. We just look at fire. No? Really, it takes you to a different level. But after the fire has been dead, then the larger reality of everything around you. If you're on the forest or on the plain or the open sky, you'll see, wow, look at that. So consciousness expands suddenly, which was, like I said, confined to that. So here, the real nature of that being is this. We've been studying this through the manifested universe, how it appears, that reality. He is the governor, controller, in a rule, all limiting adjuncts. you strip away all creation, you strip away I and you and everything, then what remains? This. It is without parts. Everything which is perceptible in this universe is made of the combination of parts. Everything is parts. This, you have
Parts or parts?
parts.
Parts.
Yeah, not parts, parts. It's beyond action, yeah. Your real nature will be beyond karma, beyond action. So, what about all these things? Yeah, we'll come now. As you have seen in this, that it is that non knowledge of this reality which was making us feel that, yes, I am the doer and I keep on doing. Why should that reality be actionless? Well, the moment you bring in action, you bring in another element called bondage. Okay, I'll answer your questions later. And why should the reality be active? What's wrong with that? There was somebody in Santa Barbara saying, "What did you do the whole day?" I was just quiet and in my. What did you do? I said, "That's a problem with you people. Why should I do something? Do. Why can't I just be?" And yes, of course. Why can't I just be? Why should I have to do something? So doing is a much lower stage than just being pure consciousness. So this is what it is. Actionless, tranquil. It's called a word called shantam. People say, where is peace? Where is peace? Peace, yeah, it's this. The Atman is called peace, shantam. You want peace? Realize the Atman. That's the.
And it's freedom.
Oh, yes, of course. Of course. Nirvadhyam. And that which is faultless and taintless. You keep going around the adjectives. It's like, expressing this thing in a negative way. You know this thing is tainted. So that reality should be taintless. This is the product of action that should be actionless. And so as we keep on understanding, this is the process of divesting all concepts of the reality, resolving them away. All concepts that we had of reality, it should have a long beard, it should have a long white robe, it should have a staff, whatever. It has to be staying somewhere in that down the road, this wine street somewhere. Hmm. No, remove of all conceptions. And as you keep on removing all conceptions, that consciousness within becomes pure. I have been saddled with this concept and that concept of reality, and you know and chaffing on that, you can say, weight of all these concepts. Give up all concepts. Hmm, yeah, it's beyond all conceptions, and you are that. And then the ideas of separateness go. Wow, I am that. Yes, you are that. Yes, find out who you are, who am I, and who am I? Yeah, I am that Atman. Yes, realize that. And then that's the bridge to immortality, supreme. That's a kind of a word, Amrita Setu, uh, is also used in one another Upanishad called the Mundaka Upanishad. This is the bridge to immortality. I mean, when everything has been removed of, where does the bridge come? That's symbolic. It's not. It's a bridge from here. So what do we cross? The ocean of ignorance. And where is the ocean of ignorance? Well, it's in my ego.
Hmm.
The whole ocean of ignorance is there. Yeah, if I can cross over that, I'm free. And like that fire with, with fuel has been spent, that or the fire which is burning fuel, everything it eradicates darkness. That so we have a little more time. We can go on a little more. Now this is another kind of important, quite oft quoted. When men will be able to roll up the sky like leather, then there will be an end of sorrow without knowing that effulgent one. What? Suppose I don't want to know this deity, this effulgent one. I don't want to know the reality. Well, you can, and who bothers? If you want to, do it. If you don't want to, don't do it. You've got that degree of freedom. I'll go and dance out there on the streets. Well, go out and dance. Who's stopping you? Oh, the police might come and catch you. Say, what are you doing dancing out here? You got to explain yourself. So here, this page 200, which is Yada charmavad akasham veshtayashanti manavaha tada devam avijnaya dukkasyanto bhavishyati. When people, it's actually people, will be able to roll up the sky like leather. Wow. Then there will be an end of sorrow without knowing their effulgence. So we will be always sunk in sorrow. It's a kind of an impossibility to roll up the sky like leather. Yeah.
So
So
even if we can roll,
when you can do that,
we'll still be suffering.
no, there will be an end of sorrow. You will be able to overcome sorrow.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Ah,
Because the sky itself is a kind of an illusion. There is no such thing as sky. You mean to say there is something sky? Is it real? Yeah. That's the effect of light and your limitations of your eyes. It gives you kind of blue light. Blue light? But the sky is blue in California. You go a little further down and you say sky is changing colors. Oh, it's daytime and nighttime. What's the sky? There's no such thing as a sky. And if you can roll that sky like leather, you can roll it up like leather. Well, that will be the end of your sorrow without realizing that omniscient one, which is, in other words, it's an impossibility. So you better know that reality is much quicker and better. So this is what. So yeah, if you can do that impossibility, yeah, it's like those. What's those? Jason and the Argonauts, no, those 12 tasks of Hercules and all this, and they're kind of almost impossible, but they were heroes. They all got together and said, "Let's get this, let's get." But they were distracted and this and that, and finally they find there is no golden fleece or something like that, or they managed to get what I don't
they
know.
did manage to get it,
They did manage
Yeah.
to get, yeah, right, and they got
but they had to go through.
they got had to
process.
go through all this trouble. So why go through all this trouble? Yeah, hey, we sit down quietly and realize that reality there will be the end of all these troubles. So it's like searching that pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, and we are searching, searching, searching. Really? Yes, there is a pot of gold. Oh, good. So this is the idea. Like the sage Svetashvatra, he's kind of telling you, you wake up now. You had enough of rambling about. Now come here. You want something? You come on this side, take refuge in that reality, and realize that divinity. And then we will become like one. So we have a couple of verses yet, and next
Wednesday.
week. Yeah, no, I've got some interreligious kind of council meet on the 11th Wednesday. So we won't have any class on Wednesday and Friday next week. After that, it will be as
Not even on Friday.
No.
So whole week, no class.
next week. Yeah,
Yeah, class.
these morning classes.
Next
But
week
then-
you're not here? Okay, 'cause I can't.
Yeah.
You're in Kansas?
Right. Kansas and St. Louis.
But then after that is Durga Puja. And Bharat Sevastava is doing all the whole week puja.
Ah. Here you don't have it. Okay.
Only Santa Barbara.
Santa Barbara. So it doesn't matter. So we can come back. And then after that, we'll finish this few verses and then pick up the next Upanishad called the Katha Upanishad.
Yeah, they just ordered a bunch of books then,
Hmm.
so they're available.
Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Ram Krishna Arpanamastu